Most bass anglers make at least 3 of these mistakes and they don't even know it. Fix these and you will catch way more bass with way less frustration. Let's break down the 15 bass fishing mistakes holding you back, including a few towards the end that even experienced anglers still get wrong. I've also included a bonus tip at the end based on an embarrassing but kind of funny mistake my buddy made. Our first 3 mistakes are a shotgun round of Texas rig micro mistakes that ruin your action. Mistake 1 is not rigging baits perfectly straight. Crooked baits twirl and look unnatural in the water. Straight baits straight up catch more fish. A tip to help get a straight line bait is when you run the hook through the bait, first lay your hook over the bait to confirm exactly where the hook needs to go through for a straight lie and run your hook through that spot. Mistake 2 is not Texposing soft plastics. Texas rigs are excellent because they're super weedless, but if you bury the hook too deep, your hookup ratio will suffer. I found the best way to balance a weedless bait with having a hookup ratio is what's called Texposing the bait, where you just barely skin hook the point of your hook into the bait. You'll stay weedless, but the hook point can come free when you set the hook. Mistake 3 is using the wrong type of hook. The 2 most popular hook types are extra wide gap or EWG hooks and offset worm hooks. EWG hooks have the hook point in line with the eye, whereas offset worm hooks have a slight offset, which can dramatically help with hookup ratios. A good rule of thumb is EWG hooks for thick baits that need space to compress and get out of the way, and offset worm hooks for skinny baits where you don't need as much room. Mistake 4, ignoring casting accuracy. Bass relate to structure, wood, grass edges, shade lines, stumps, things like that. Many times, bass will smack a bait if it lands within 6 inches of a piece of cover, but completely ignore it if you land 18 inches or more away. Also, it's super gratifying when you stick the perfect cast and getting rewarded with a fish.
That's so cool.
Mistake 5, fishing too slow. When searching for bass, many anglers fish way too slow. Do not make 100 casts into one spot. Instead, move along a bank or a piece of structure quickly. If you get a bite or see other signs that fish are around like bait jumping or surface activity, then slow down and pick apart the area. Don't waste your time fishing unproductive water. Mistake 6, bad positioning or casting angles. You can throw the perfect bait at the wrong angle and bass will barely see it. Pros think about maximizing time the bait is in the strike zone. Bass tend to work along the edges of cover. By casting parallel to the zone or at an angle to the zone, experienced anglers keep their bait in the strike zone for the maximum amount of time. Angles matter, whether you're from a boat, a kayak, or from the bank. Mistake 7, using the wrong baits. Bass baits come in every size, shape, and color, and frankly it's overwhelming even for experienced anglers. They all have their place, but it's easy to get lost in the sauce. When you're first starting out, I strongly recommend 2 baits, a swim bait on a jig head and a wacky worm. These are 2 of the most beginner-friendly baits and broadly successful bass fishing baits of all time. They're consistent and easy to use. A paddle-tail swim bait resembles a small bait fish and gets smacked by bass anywhere in the country. And wacky worms are usually fished a little slower, but bass just can't seem to ignore the helpless worm action in the water. If you want a deeper dive into what baits to use in certain conditions, check out the Bass Bait Selector cheat sheet and other useful resources linked below. Mistake 8, trying to force a topwater bite. There's no argument that topwater strikes are peak bass fishing, but some days the bass just aren't in the mood for loud topwater baits. Yes, give your buzzbait or frog a fighting chance, but if you can't buy a bite after 30 minutes, I recommend swapping to something a little more subtle that works in the watercolor. Mistake 9, not bonking crankbaits into cover. Here's the part that scares beginners. You want your crankbait crashing into stuff. Beginner mistake is avoiding cover to keep from snagging. No one likes losing expensive baits, but pros purposely bonk their crankbaits along the bottom to trigger bites. Cranks like square bills and deep divers deflect surprisingly well. My rule of thumb is to pick a bait diving depth that matches my water depth. For example, we frequently fish woody bottom conditions in about 4 feet of water where square bills that dive to 4 feet deep are just perfect. Yes, we do get snags sometimes, but it also seems like the bass just demolish these baits when they're ticking along the bottom. Mistake 10, using the wrong line weight for the technique. This is one of the most common mistakes I see beginner bass anglers make. Heavier line is stronger, but it's heavier, which can affect bait presentation and casting distance. Optimum line choice is a balance between line light enough to present baits properly, but strong enough not to break off. A quick cheat code is these 3 setups. For finesse fishing, 8 to 12 pound line, reaction baits, 15 to 20 pound line. And the third one I always hear a lot of flack about is for frogs, 50 to 65 pound braid. The line of this strength is not to handle the fish, it's to smash colossal hook sets and to be able to manhandle fish out of the thickest, sloppiest weeds without worrying about breaking off. Too heavy of line kills action, too light of line causes breakoffs. Get this right and your catch rate jumps instantly. Mistake 11, retrieving reaction baits at the wrong speed. Spinner baits, chatterbaits, and even paddle-tail swim baits, they're designed to get reaction bites. And what's even better, the bait designs do most of the work for you. Spinnerbaits have spinning blades, chatterbaits have their vibrating design, and paddletail's little flappy boot tail all cause commotion in the water just by reeling it in. Beginners can pick up these baits and hit a straight retrieve and catch fish without any fancy techniques. So, step 1 is retrieve the bait fast enough to engage the bait action. Step 2 is where most newer bass anglers fail. It's throttling the retrieve speed to control the depth of the bait. A faster retrieve keeps the bait higher in the water column, and a slower retrieve lets the bait drop a little deeper. A good rule of thumb is you want your bait just barely skimming over any shallow cover or the bottom. Mistake 12, ignoring underwater visibility. Bass prefer to hunt with their eyes. It's a huge mistake to ignore the factors that affect a bass's ability to see. Clear water equals picky fish. Dirty water is more reaction bites. Sunlight and waves also can affect visibility. If the fish can see too well, you need to adjust. We've all had those bluebird sunny days with no wind where we can't seem to buy a bite. I believe these conditions are tough because the bass can see your baits and make smarter decisions. On the flip side, in lower visibility conditions like murky water with some chop, it seems like bass are more willing to smack aggressive baits like spinnerbaits or chatterbaits. Mistake 13 is overcomplicating color choice. Everyone wants the perfect color, but 90% of the time, 3 categories kind of solve everything. The general rule of thumb is natural colors for clear water, have a light color like a white that really pops out, and then dark colors like black or blue for dirty water because they have a better silhouette. Bass usually follow these rules, but not always. A good practice is to bring a light color and dark colors and test each of them out for a little bit to see what the bass actually want that day. For example, I was filming this wacky worm chain challenge video when I kept fishing a longer and longer wacky worm chain. My first bite was on a black and blue worm, and then I struggled with natural color worms for about 30 minutes. Thinking back to that first worm, I swapped back to dark colors, and boom, I caught 3 fish back to back to back. Mistake 14, ignoring signs instead of adapting. If you pay attention, you'll start to see signs that scream to change it up. Water clarity change, bait fish action, your buddy catches something in a different bait than you. Most anglers notice these things, but don't change anything. Successful bass fishing is about adjusting, not forcing your plan. If your buddy catches 1 fish, don't change anything. If they catch 3 fish and you don't even have a bite yet, you should think about tying up whatever bait they have on. One of the strangest fishing days I was able to salvage was where I launched and was planning to get footage with a spinnerbait, crankbait, and a frog. I got in the water and the pond was crystal clear and the bass would not touch any of these baits. I literally could run the bait into the bass and they wouldn't touch it. I brought some soft plastic worms, but I forgot my hooks at home. I literally found someone snagged EWG hook in a tree, tied up a wacky worm, and proceeded to smash the bass after they wouldn't touch my other reaction baits. Adjusting plans on the fly is what separates newbies from the pros. Mistake 15, wrong rod setup for the technique. A bad rod and reel combo match is a recipe for frustration and can ruin your casting distance, hookup ratio, and action. Bring the right tool for the job. Beginners are always intimidated that advanced anglers have dozens of bass rods, but I have a 3-rod setup that can do 99% of bass techniques exceptionally well, and they are as follows. Rod 1 is a medium light spinning rod for finesse techniques like wacky worms, swim baits, and drop shots. Rod 2 is a medium power bait caster setup for aggressive techniques like chatterbaits, spinnerbaits, and bass jigs. And Rod 3 is a heavy power bait casting setup with heavier line for frog fishing and big glide baits. This 3-rod setup is the most cost efficient way to unlock the most popular bass fishing techniques. Your rod is a key enabler, and don't ignore it. And a bonus mistake number 16. Based on an unfortunate mistake my buddy made a few years back, but at least his comedic timing was pretty good. I've been fishing for years, so I've accumulated a significant collection of rods, reels, and baits. We were heading out on my old boat, and I was bringing 4 different rods, which I think is completely reasonable. My buddy was newer to fishing and brought his 1 rod. As we were pulling up to the honey hole, he was teasing me about bringing way too much gear when we were just gonna soak some bait on that day. A few seconds later, a rogue wave came in, he lost his balance, and he landed right on the top of his pole, snapping it in half. Definitely a bummer in the moment, but when he asked, "Hey man, can I borrow a fishing pole?" I couldn't help but laugh and I said, "Yeah, of course." The tip is to bring a few spares of key equipment, whether those be baits, rods, or even line clippers if you have the space. Bass fishing isn't about luck, it's about a eliminating simple mistakes that quietly cost you fish. Fix even one of these today and you'll notice an instant jump in confidence and results. And if you want to go deeper, especially with choosing the right bait for the right situation, check out my Bass Bait Selector cheat sheet linked below. Drop a comment with how many of these mistakes you were guilty of. Thanks for watching, and tight lines.